Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Brian, and today I want to talk about Lord of the Rings. I want to talk about Star Wars. I want to talk about Marvel and DC, Disney, Harry Potter, and Shark Week, apparently. But what do all of these different intellectual properties have in common aside from appearing somewhere on this wall behind me? Well, fans of each of these can show off their fandom by wearing one of the many, many rings made by the folks at Enso Rings. That's right, today I'm talking about rings. It's not tech, it's not Nintendo, but hey, it's nerd culture and it's something I have strong feelings about, so I figured why not share them with you. Now, I wear my wedding ring every day, as you may have noticed in some of my many, many close-ups of my hands, and apologies, by the way, I know I'm not a hand model, but as you may have seen, I just wear this simple gold band, nothing too flashy. I love the classic look, as does my wife. But for both of us, wearing a metal ring every single day just isn't super practical. For her, it's mostly the engagement ring that causes issues since she works at a hospital and has to wear rubber gloves. Rings with stones on them tend to split gloves open. For me, I do a ton of typing and have never found a metal ring to be all that comfortable while I'm tickety typing away on my keyboard. I know it's a minor issue and lots of people do it, but still, I've just never been a ring guy. So both of us, we thought we'd have our metal rings that we used at our wedding for going out and weekends or anytime we're just feeling a little fancy. Otherwise, we wanted to have a cheap silicone ring that we can wear every day, that we don't have to worry about scuffing up, damaging, or losing, especially when you go swimming or going to the gym or whatever. I've had a number of friends go down the silicone ring route, most just going with one of those cheap multi-packs on Amazon, which is the first thing I did. I left it in the other room. 1 second.
1 second later.
I've returned. Oh, these are dusty. These are dusty because I never wear them. But I got these. This is part of a multi-pack. Let's see if it focuses. Multi-pack of just cheapo Amazon rings. They look fine. They look fine. They're thick. They're fine. They are extremely cheap, but it's just a big, thick piece of silicone that has this tiny little groove at the top and bottom. They're not going to win any style awards, but for the price, what do you expect? I got 7 of them for $15. 7 of them. This one's chaos. I got 7 of these for $15. They do have inside, I don't know if you can see, they've got little grooves that are supposed to be for airflow, I guess. They're supposed to stop it from getting too hot on your finger. But if I was absolutely determined to wear a ring while working on a job that would destroy a ring in no time, I don't know, if I was working on cars or ripping apart barbed wire with my bare hands, I'd go with these. I would go with this because if it rips, it rips. You buy a new pack every other week if you wanted to. If I genuinely expected to go through a ring every week, this is the most cost-effective method, and I guess I'd recommend to anyone who works with their hands. If you're a lumberjack, probably go with these cheapo ones, or don't wear a ring at all. But you want to wear the ring. You want to be showing off to the wilderness creatures that you are a taken man. But if you are just typing away at a computer or, wearing rubber gloves, I think you can get away with something a bit pricier, which is where Enso Rings comes in. And now, let me preface this, I didn't say it earlier, but they're not a sponsor. This isn't a sponsored video. I got them and I wanted to tell you about them because I have enjoyed my experience. Now, I actually first found out about them a few years ago at New York Comic Con, same place I got this shirt. They had a booth with all of the different designs, some of which looked really super cool. I thought, how cool are these rings? If I wore rings, I would get one of these. But seeing as I wasn't married at the time, I wasn't exactly in the market for a ring. But once we were married, my wife and I was thoroughly unimpressed with the Amazon rings, I remembered the Enso Rings booth and how impressed I was with their designs. To be honest, I did not expect the most from the Enso Rings. Sure, I saw them in person, but I figured when I actually got them, they would be very similar to ones from Amazon, just with cooler designs. Boy, could I not have been more wrong. We ordered the Aragorn and Arwen pair from the Lord of the Rings because I love the Lord of the Rings, and my wife very kindly wore a Lord of the Rings ring with me, even though it's not her favorite thing in the whole world. But here they are. Let's see if, I don't know, I'll get a close-up shot. Hers is so tiny. This is so tiny compared to mine, but I'll try to hold it like that. Can you? Whoa, come on, focus. Oh, there you go. So these are the Aragorn and Arwen duo. I'll get another shot of them. But mine is the Aragorn's Devotion in Emerald and Black Pearl, and my wife's is the Arwen's Evenstar in Unicorn and Emerald. So we've got the matchy emerald, even though hers looks all white ivory unicorn. It's very pretty. We get compliments about these all the time. The designs are nice. I also, on top of these, I got myself a Year of the Dragon. There you go. Yeah, it's hard to see. I'll get a close-up of them. So I got the Year of the Dragon because I wanted a red ring. I like red, and I wanted a red ring, so I got a red ring. But I can tell you that these are extremely comfortable. They are very, very comfortable. The silicone itself, it's very soft to the touch. It doesn't have this rubbery feeling that, I'll use the blue one so you can tell. It doesn't have this rubbery feeling that the cheap Amazon ones have. They are noticeably lighter and also much, much thinner. It's hard, I'll get more close-ups, but the Enso ring, actually, maybe if you see it on my finger, I'll do all three. You could see, look how thick the Amazon one is compared to the Enso ring, which, up against my regular ring, it's much closer in size. The Enso ring, it's much closer to an actual ring, if not slightly thinner, honestly, which is what I want. They also have the same little channels that the big Amazon one did, but they are much deeper and much more consistent across the whole ring. And once again, it's supposed to increase airflow and stop your finger from sweating, I guess, but how much they work, I don't know. I definitely don't find my finger getting particularly hot underneath, so maybe it works. I don't know. I don't know. Sure, we'll say it works. We'll say it works on all of them because they don't get hot, but also my regular ring doesn't get hot, so I don't know. Maybe silicone, unlike actual metal, is known for getting hot because all of the silicone rings have these grooves. So do with that what you will. Honestly, the rings do exactly what I want them to, which is vanish completely. Vanish completely into my finger. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to feel a ring on my hand. I just want it to exist while I'm not looking at it, and then exist when I look at it. I don't want to have to worry about them, and I want to be able to move my fingers without feeling like I've got any sort of pressure on them from the ring. However, my biggest concern was not actually how comfortable it was how durable the ring would be. Will it last? There's No denying that these are substantially more expensive than the cheap ones from Amazon. We got ours on sale, I think. They were just a little discount, maybe 10-15%, which had them each hovering around $30. I think all in, it was just over $100 with tax and shipping. I can't remember if I paid for shipping. Maybe it was free shipping. But overall, it was just over $100 for the 3 Enso rings. For the Amazon rings, I got all 7 for $15. That is a 15 times price increase from Amazon to Enso rings. So it's pricey. It's much pricier, and I understand why. Like, I've told people to get Enso rings and they've been like, I'm not gonna spend that kind of money on a silicone ring, especially if it's going to break in a week. How do I know? How do I know the silicone will last? And my wife and I, we genuinely debated if it were worth the money, especially if there was the chance that they'd wear out over a short amount of time. I've seen some customer reviews saying that theirs started falling apart after a short amount of time. Maybe they rip or stretch from taking them on and off or getting caught on things. They could rub the color off or maybe just wear down the engraved design. All of these were our concerns, but fortunately, when we were debating that, we read on the website that they offer replacements for all of those issues. For life. A lifetime warranty, which is very nice. On top of everything else, they offer a lifetime warranty, and that warranty covers rips, tears, stretching, wear, and even discoloration, according to the website. They even say that lost items, though not covered by the warranty, if you reach out to them, they'll do their best to assist you, which I think is very nice. I like that a company would say, look, we can work with you, maybe give you a cheaper replacement. I don't know. Can't speak to that. They don't promise anything. Now, keep in mind, there are going to be limits, and not just if you lost it or can't prove it is defective. And at the very least, there is going to be some sort of delivery fee you'll need to pay. It doesn't specify what the charge is, but I've seen folks online say it's around $5. So I would expect to pay at least $5 anytime you ask for a replacement, which, you know, I think is fair, but still, it adds up, especially if it were to fail after a short amount of time. But even so, when we saw that you could get a replacement, we figured, why not? Maybe it was the newlywed glow, but we decided to order ourselves some rings and thought if these last at least a few months, we'll be happy with them. Well, after a full year, you'd have no idea that these were worn every single day. No stretching, no warping. They fit exactly like the day we got them. I also thought the silicone might stiffen over time, but no, they're soft and flexible and stretchy, just as comfortable as ever. The engravings still look as detailed as they ever were. Even with her tiny, intricate little pattern, it still looks good. The engraving still works. I thought for sure the engraving was going to wear it down. And when I look at it, there's the tiniest little bit of discoloration on the edges of my wife's ring. It's kind of the shimmering unicorn. It's some sort of shimmering elvish magic, but you can see the tiniest little bit. It's going to be almost impossible to see on camera, but in person, you have to really look at it. But that's it. That's all the discoloring. I can see my red looks good. Even I thought the little knot across this one was going to start falling apart. I thought for sure it would peel off, but it just hasn't. They've stayed together. And you have to understand, my wife is not gentle on hers. She is rubber gloves on and off all day. She's hand washing, she's lotions, hand sanitizers, the works. I try to take extra care not to put lotions on when I have my ring on, but that's mostly because I find the lotion fills up the grooves of the etched pattern. But also, on the website, it specifically mentions that lotions are something that will wear down the silicone, so I try to take it off anytime I do it. But looking at my wife's ring, I'll tell you, it doesn't seem that important. It doesn't seem necessary. I bet she'll get at least another year or two before we even think about going for that warranty replacement. And if we do end up waiting too long, this is the other thing that you have to keep in mind. If you wait so long that they stop making your ring, if they don't sell that design anymore, they say they'll just give you a gift card in the original value you paid for the ring. So, you know, your ring could possibly get discontinued. I thought for sure the Year of the Dragon would stop being sold the second it stopped being the Year of the Dragon, but they're still selling it. It must be popular, which is nice, but eventually I'm sure they will stop. So your ring could also be discontinued. So, you know, I wouldn't truly expect a ring to last a lifetime, but it'll last a while, and when it's done, they'll refund you your money, I guess, in the form of a gift card, so you'll still have to buy from them. But that's not the point of these. The point is not for a lifelong ring. That is the point of this one. This is the one you got married with, the metal ring. That one's supposed to last for your whole life. That's the whole point of those. The silicone rings, these are meant to be knockabout. These are meant to be things you can lose and beat up. But also, maybe you don't want a wedding band. Maybe you're just a ring person and you just want a cool ring that shows off your fandom. These work for you too. They're cool. They can work on the right hand, that's fine. They've even started making metal silicone hybrid rings where there's a metal outer ring and a silicone removable inner ring. I don't know, I guess that's to give you the comfort of the silicone, but the look and durability of the metal, maybe that lets you have a lower quality metal. I don't know. To be honest, I'm not so sold on those. They look fine, a subtle, I would think, laser etch design on the metal. But for me, outside of the light, soft, stretchy nature of it, one of the biggest selling points of a silicone ring is safety. It will rip off if you ever get it caught on something. I won't traumatize you with discussing the dangers of metal rings, but suffice to say, I'd rather my day-to-day ring be able to break away from my finger if it were ever to get caught on anything. Plus, the fake metal, the faux, I mean, this is supposed to be red, and I guess this isn't really, this is supposed to be elvish metal, but the way it shines it's convincing at a glance. And for me personally, if I'm going to have something I can swap out on the regular, I'm going to want it to have a bit of color. That's a little more fun. And if it can also have a little bit of reference to pop culture that I like, then even better. If you can believe it, I like my things from pop culture. So we've got the Lord of the Rings ones, and there's a ton more of those, including the One Ring. But we've actually been eyeing up these Mickey and Minnie heart rings for a little while now. They're cute, they're fun, and they can be a little matchy-matchy, especially when we go to the Disney parks. But if cutesy isn't your thing, well, they've got all kinds of looks. Like I said, they've got all the DC and Marvel and Harry Potter and Star Wars and Nightmare Before Christmas. But if fandoms aren't your thing, they've got all kinds of nature patterns, skulls, or even just plain metals and elements. There's really something for everyone, and I cannot recommend these enough. They're one of my favorite things. This is, everyone look under your seats. Everyone look under your seats, you get an Enso ring. I'll include a link down in the description. Like I said, they're not a sponsor, but I think if you check them out, you might find some you'll like. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever had an Enso ring yourself, or if there's any cool ones out there you want to try. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and make sure you subscribe to see all of my videos to come. Consider following me on Instagram and Twitch to be notified when I upload a new video and to watch me play live. And if you are still here, thank you so much for watching. That'll do it for this one. Until next time, peace.